tangent into nothing good.
Yes.
We are going to talk about, in my opinion, the worst show on TV right now.
And
that is Obi Wan effing Kenobi.
The funniest thing to me...
Episode 5. The
funniest thing to me is that because of the all-holy algorithm...
Yes.
When I'm, booping around on Reddit or whatever, there will be, like, prequel memes and like, that kind of thing. And same on Instagram. All of them are so elated about Obi-Wan. And I'm just sitting here like, really, my dudes?
They're
for serious?
Apologists.
Like, are you kidding me, dude?
Every time I watch the show and I hear a Star Wars fan say it's great, I think about that Flash Gets. Do you ever watch that Flash Gets? Did you ever hear of that?
No.
There's this group, they do these animated shorts called Flash Gets. And they have this one where George Lucas shows up to talk to Mickey Mouse. Because Mickey Mouse wants to figure out how people still love Star Wars. And he shows how they make a Star Wars movie, and it's just a massive deluge of shit from J.J. Abrams' ass. And they throw a lightsaber and something in it, and then they drop dead Princess Leia on top, and they're like, Star Wars! And you see all the fans like, yeah! All excited. And it's like, how do Star Wars fans... And I know so many of them that I know have taste in film and know what a good film is, what a good TV show is. How do they watch this and not be like, okay, the lightsaber battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Let's talk about the duel. Let's talk about the training
everyone
sequence.
Keeps talking about. They're like, oh, we're so happy. That's what they brought Anakin or Hayden Christensen back for. Okay.
So bad.
He has both hands. So that means this happens prior to Attack of the Clones when he's like 14.
Yeah.
And it is a obviously 45-year-old Hayden Christensen.
He looks like he got held back in Jedi school for like a decade.
Yes.
Like, it's bad.
It was really bad.
It's Billy Madison bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's
oh my God, it's so bad.
Hilariously bad. And then, again, I just, because why... Obi-Wan, they gave him the same costume as Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
They basically just got the Attack of the Clones costumes out, and they were like, put these on. And they gave him a little bit of a longer hair, and that was it. And I'm like, so on the one hand, you keep on having Princess Leia refer to him as being a grandfather and being so old. And on the other hand, you do absolutely nothing to make him look young.
Yeah.
In the flashbacks. And then they tripled down on that with Hayden Christensen. It's incredible.
Oh my God.
It's immaculate. I've never seen or experienced anything like it.
And the thing I hate the most about that scene is there was no warning. And I got completely herbally overtaken that night.
There was a warning at the beginning of the episode that some viewers might find some things in this episode reprehensible.
Oh, that's true.
That was about something completely different. But
I'm not even going to mince words. I was way out of my mind high. And when that lightsaber battle hit, I started laughing. And I could not stop laughing. And I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Because it was the stupidest thing.
It was so awful.
In a bad show. And once again, it's like, you go into each episode like, this show can't get any worse. The episode before, somebody bitch slapped a stormtrooper.
Yes.
And what happens is it gets worse. And it's like, how? How does it get worse?
How does it get worse? You keep digging this hole, and you dig it deeper and deeper. Okay, let's talk about the things I liked about the episode. The fact that she had a thermal detonator, because it gave me an opportunity to quote Return of the Jedi, when she holds up the bomb, and it starts glowing, and it's clearly a thermal detonator, and I got to be like, oh, she's holding a thermal detonator! Yeah. And I was like, cool, that made me happy. There's nothing else good to talk about in this show.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing else good to talk about in the entire show.
I gotta talk about my bad part.
We haven't even got okay. So I still love that his name is Roken. So they're flying back, and my only thought is, why are we not flying directly to Alderaan? And thankfully, Obi-Wan brings it up. He's like, we gotta go to Alderaan. And they're like, we gotta get all these people out of here, man. Like, we stopped the train just so you could get your girl. And we see one ship. And they keep talking about how they really got to get all these people out of there. And there's Darth Vader is coming, man. He's coming. And first off, they've sealed all the blast doors, but in order to get out, they have to open the hangar, to which I say, isn't the hangar just as approachable as anything from the Empire State of Mind? Like, can't they just as easily blow you out of the sky if they wanted to, since you open up the hangar to try and get out? Okay, we're not going to talk about that. That's fine. We're just going to leave that alone as a giant gaping plot hole. Okay, I love a nice bloody plot hole. That's great. So they heard our note. They heard our note from episode 2. They heard our note. And they said, you're right. Darth Vader should be able to do things with the Force. Yeah. And so they had him do that thing that I was like, why didn't he do this with the fire? Why is fire big, bad, fire bad? Yeah. Why? So he pulls a ship out of the sky, and you're like, fucking finally. And he rips it apart. And you're like, fucking finally. We've been waiting so long for this. And then another ship goes. And I'm like, wait, okay. Hang on. First off, did you run out of mana points? We're just going to let the other ship go? Second off, where the fuck did this other ship come from?
And how fast it took off.
Like, what? And no one was on the other one?
Yes.
What
yes.
the high holy fuck are we doing? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. I don't care if you gave me the fan service of Darth Vader ripping a starship apart. First off, a little late for that. Second off, you completely botch it when you turn around and have another ship leave when there was never a second ship in the first place. And if there was, why haven't we gone to Alderaan?
Yes. But with that second ship, once again, how do you have it take off and fly as fast as any ship in the history of Star Wars has done?
Yeah.
Especially that one that size.
It breaks down immediately, too.
Yeah.
So they get out of there fast, and then it breaks down.
But then, once again, Vader doesn't just grab that one.
Just grab it.
Just grab it, baby. It was just on the other side.
Just grab it, baby.
And when that first ship took off, there was nothing on the other side.
No, there wasn't.
And all of a sudden, it crashed down, and then
another one lifts up. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? And if we had two ships, then why are we dicking around? What is this?
This is so bad.
It's so phenomenally bad.
So bad.
Can we talk about Third Sister and that whole arc? Because this is the thing that makes me say, not only is this bad, it's going to get worse.
Oh, it's absolutely
going to get worse.
She's not dead because she's been stabbed by Anakin through the chest once before.
And not only that, the other guy who got stabbed through the chest in episode 2 is already back. Yep. And he's on his feet and he's fine.
No guys in Star Wars, baby.
And so let me set this up because it makes me infuriated. God. Obi Wan, in the middle of all of these hijinks, gets a communique from Bail Organa. And Bail opens up the communique by saying, I know we said we weren't going to communicate, but I'm getting nervous.
I'm going to give away all the information that the Empire might need.
And also, I promise to take care of the boy on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan, being the genius tactician that he is, decides that he needs to not have any of his belongings on him when he goes to barter with the Empire, even though that never comes up. He's never searched. They don't try and take anything off of him. So he gives it all to Camille Nanjiani. And Camille Nanjiani, while he's running out of it, drops the communicator and looks and sees that he drops it and goes, bleh, and he leaves. He just books it. And then Third Sister gets in the second worst Darth Vader fight of this series.
Oh my God,
it was so bad.
It was so bad.
I watched her and I was just like, what are you doing on the ground? He didn't put you on the ground. You just got on the ground. You decide your best tactic was to get on the ground. The guy is stopping your blows with the Force and your tactic was breakdance. What are we doing, my dude? And like, she has this super lightsaber and it can spin and it has this thing on it and it's a Darth Maul special, but it's shrunk down like an iPhone and it means nothing. She's totally outclassed the entire time. For once, we agree. She should be outclassed. Yeah. Why is she not dead? She should just fucking die.
Yes.
She's not dead. We see that she's not dead. And what does she find? The communicator. Yeah. Which just happens to still be playing Bail Organa's message.
Why Obi-Wan, as soon as he saw that, didn't jab his lightsaber through it and destroy it.
Yeah.
The second, or crush it with the Force.
Yeah.
No, I gotta keep it Because it is an insanely dangerous message
that reveals
everything.
Literally everything about what we're doing.
This is the worst show I've ever seen.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's staggering.
Yeah.
It's absolutely... I was watching her pick up the communicator, and I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
So on top of everything fucking else that we're doing here, on top of all this bullshit nonsense that we're doing to the canon, you're gonna bring Luke into it.
Yeah.
First off, let's talk about the obvious. There is no suspense here.
Yeah, none.
There's none to be found. So why are we talking about this like it's so suspenseful? We know all these characters live.
Yeah.
This is so ridiculously stupid. Yeah. We know she doesn't kill Darth Vader. We know that Ben Kenobi doesn't die. We know that Leia doesn't die.
Yeah.
We know that Luke, even if it gets kidnapped, is brought back to Owen.
Yeah.
This is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is stomping around in the canon, being like, look at me, I'm a big boy, I like to stomp around.
Fucking member berries.
And it's just like...
all member berries.
What is this? They're making, like that old Italian version of wine where you have to get in the barrel and stomp.
Absolutely.
They're doing that with member berries.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're going to load up a bunch of shit.
Which is easily what the final 3 movies were.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9. Yeah. Same thing.
This seven we can do with because
7
we needed that. We needed that.
8, 9 were...
8. Everybody I heard came out of 7 and said, "We really like this. This is great. We needed this.
Yeah.
Next one better be even more. You better. We don't want rehashing. We'll take rehashing the one time.
Yeah.
We don't want it twice. So you better do more." And they did not take that advice.
No.
And now they're just dumping everything in. Oh, you like two-handed lightsabers? Oh, here's one. Oh, you like Darth Vader fighting? Oh, here's some of that. Oh, you like James Earl Jones' voice? We got a computer that is a bare simulacrum of it. It's close.
Yeah, it is so noticeable.
And
I still, when I saw that he was only in one episode, I was like, how are they going to do his voice? Oh, badly.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to do his voice.
They're not going to hire someone to do the voice of Darth Vader who could easily do it.
Yeah.
They're going to have a computer do it for them.
Because you're telling me there is not 5 human beings on this planet, comedians especially, who are really good impressions.
I can think of at least 2.
James Earl Jones?
I can think of at least 2 offhand that already work for Star Wars, doing voices for them. Like it's just insane to me.
So bad.
It's insane to me that we have decided that this is the method that we're going to execute this on. And also, while we're talking about Third Sister, I love the turn that apparently this whole time has just been so she could get close to Darth Vader. This has had nothing to do with Obi Wan Kenobi and has nothing to do with Leia. It has just to do with her getting close to Darth Vader so that what? You can get your shit kicked out?
And there were 4 times, and I saw this in that Jeremy John review. If you look back, there were at least 4 times during the show where he has been like focused on something and her standing behind him. And just like and he had mentioned this too, just like what Kylo Ren did with Snoke, he didn't open the lightsaber and then try to attack. He put it and then opened it so it went right in. Yeah. She could have easily put her lightsaber to the back of his head and just opened it.
That was the other thing, was that they're talking through the door and the Imperials, their infinite wisdom, have brought down a quote-unquote big gun, according to the rebels. And they are firing it at one of the blast doors. Again, I still have to question, when we know that they have to open the hangar, shouldn't we just have like a bunch of TIE fighters in a holding pattern over the base so that when they open the hangar door to, escape, they can't? I guess not. I guess we're going to get a big gun and shoot at this big door that we know we can't blast through. And so they're doing that, and they fire off several rounds into it, and then Obi-Wan's like, let me barter with them! Mm-hmm. And so he goes and he talks to Third Sister through the door, and Third Sister reveals her entire plan. Mm-hmm. And then chops through the little thing that's been holding the door closed with her lightsaber, and the door swings open, and I'm just sitting there like,
why did you do that?
Why the fuck did you wait to do that till now? I'm sorry. Are you trying to get these people? Or are you trying to just intimidate them? So bad. I can't keep track of what your motives are because they don't make sense. It's so frustrating and awful. It's resoundingly awful. It's one of those things where when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is really bad. And I'll notably say things out loud about how bad it is and what they should be doing. And then I'll think about it for like 2 days, and once I actually start talking about it, that's when I'm like, man, this show is really bad.
And see, the worst thing is, like, I love Ewan McGregor. And I feel awful that this is what he's attached to.
Once again, dude got a Star Wars cherry roll and apparently the worst direction in the world.
And the worst writing in the world.
Twice.
Yeah.
Because it's awful.
It's truly bad.
It's awful. I don't know if they were trying to emulate the style of the writing in the first three. I don't know why you would do that, because of anything. The entire world has agreed the writing in those three, awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Across the board. All three. We all agree. Awful. So unless you were 5 when they came out and they were your favorite movie to watch after school, we all agree they're awful.
They're terrible.
So why would you be like, hey, you know what? I got a brilliant idea. Let me try and write like George Lucas did in Attack of the Clones. Because that was some award-winning writing.
Just waiting for a floating fruit scene.
I'm so done with it. I'm sitting here. Thank the gods there's only one more episode.
I cannot wait to see how they try to wrap all this up.
I saw a little teaser while I was setting up on IMDb. They had a thumbnail for episode 6, and it has Obi Wan and Darth Vader fighting on Mustafar, and I'm just like,
no.
So none of this is going to end well.
And all the things that they say to each other in A New Hope, when they finally come face to face, makes it seem like they have not seen each other for a very long time.
Darth Vader says, "I sense something. Presence I haven't felt in," and then he stops because he's so shocked that it's Obi Wan Kenobi, who he apparently saw 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and got really close to catching. Yeah,
and had really massive lightsaber battles with.
Yeah, and I just and was like, I guess in episode 2 he was like a cat playing with its food. I guess that's the explanation because he had Kenobi dead to rights like 8 times, and then big fire bad. Big fire scary. Small fire good. Small fire fine. Big fire bad. Big fire scary. And
it's so bad.
It's so
bad.
So bad.
So folks, I hope you understand we don't like this show.
No.
And I am very much looking forward to next week being the final episode, complete and utter trashing of this series. As much as I hate this series and I hate watching it, I am getting a lot of enjoyment out of trashing it on a weekly basis.
This is Game of Thrones Season 8 bad.
Times 2.
Where every episode you watch it and you're just like, oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. And then for the next week, the entire world talks about how bad it was.
Yeah.
And there's some apologists who are like, it's not that bad. And they've never read the books and they don't know anything about the show. They just started watching in season 7, so they don't know any better. Yeah. But it's not that bad.
But see, the big thing is that season was necessary to end something where this is totally unnecessary.
It's 100%
It never needed to happen.
None of this helps anything.
Nope.
None of this. Once again, I didn't, in my wildest dreams, I could never imagine that Star Wars would look at the first 3 episodes and look at the damage that they do to the canon, which is significant and powerful, and then decide, you know what? Let's do that again.
Yeah.
Let's double down
on it.
Let's do it again.
And the only thing it's missing is midichlorians and Jar Jar Binks.
At least Boba Fett had the decency to not take place in the established timeline. Like, it takes place ancillarily to the period sometime after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
And, fine. It doesn't have to interact with anything. We don't have to worry about it running into anything.
So bad.
Here, it's it's the entire point of the show is to completely undo any final good elements that you could find between episode 3 and episode 4.
Yes.
It's now just a ravaged wasteland of just bad, it's like Strange New Worlds. In Strange New Worlds, they have that line where they're talking to Captain Angel.
Yes.
And they're asking her, why did you do all this? What's up with all this? And she basically gives them the answer, I did it for love. And they're like, you did it for love? And she's like, is that so hard to believe? And I love that concept of something powerful like love being used for evil.
Yeah.
I love it. This is nostalgia
Yes.
done for evil.
Yes.
This is
Very much so.
This is we've taken all the nostalgia that you can possibly have for something, and we're going to use it for bad.
Yeah. And it's so bad.
It's really bad.
It is so bad.
It's really powerfully bad. You know how you can tell a bad show is when a character is killed off for dramatic purposes, and in 2 episodes comes back.
Yeah.
That's
and
a
you
bad
knew they
show.
were coming back.
That's a bad show. That's bad. That's a bad show. Ned Stark doesn't come back in season 2.
Yes.
Robb Stark doesn't come back in season 4.
Yes.
It's a bad show. It's a bad show.
And especially because you know canonically the High Inquisitor comes back. Yeah. Because he's in the animated shows which take place after this, which are part of canon. So you know he's going to come back. So like the whole, even just like you're saying, how we know these characters aren't going to die. We know he's not going to die.
Yeah.
Because he's in a canon already. Yeah. In the future.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's so
bad.
ridiculous.
All right, so make sure to check in next week, folks, for when we absolutely tear the crap out of episode 6.
We're going to have a campfire.